This is the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i, and I've spent over a year with this chassis design. Now, specifically, we're sitting in front of the 2024 model, but the 2023 model has been a landmark review unit within my studio for the past year. I've put it up against a bunch of different laptops, and in many ways, it's come out on top of all of them, and it's earned me the badge of Lenovo Legion fanboy, unfortunately. Because to me, I'm all about what is objectively better. I'm not just trying to fanboy over any specific model. So let's talk about the usability, the durability, and the performance. If the 2023 model is the right choice for you, maybe you save a little money, or if it makes sense for you to go with the 2024. But let me tell you, in one way, the 2024 actually performs less than the 2023. So hang on to the video to find out what that's like. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the build quality of the laptop. We have an aluminum top cover, we have a plastic bottom cover, and we have a plastic keyboard deck. Now, if you want to have an aluminum bottom cover, you're gonna have to get the Lenovo Legion Pro 7i. This one has the plastic and the aluminum top cover. Now, as you're looking at the interior of the laptop, we have the same keyboard deck that is found on the Pro 7i. We have two full-size shift keys, which I personally love, the full-size arrow keys, full-size trackpad on the right side, and then our standard sized trackpad, which has not changed for the past like 3 or 4 years, even though I've complained about it a lot, proves that I'm really not that important to make a change on because it's working. But as a creator, I'd love to see a larger trackpad, and I'll continue to say it, even if they never do it. Now, taking a look on the backlighting here on the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i Gen 9, you can go ahead and turn it on by pressing Function and then the space bar. I'm gonna turn off the light here. And you can see that it starts out with a fading across with the RGB, but you can go ahead, hold Function, click the space bar again. You can move to more of a pulsing color RGB background. Hit it one more time, it's gonna rotate through the colors. And for the last one, it's going to keep it stagnant. It's going to have a stagnant blue color. That's what it's set to right now. The backlighting has a little bit of wash around the edges of the keys. I wish the keys were a little more sealed off so you wouldn't have this kind of wash coming out from the sides of the keys. But as far as the keys displaying the RGB clearly through each of the keycaps, it's done very well. It's very clear. So they did a really good job with that. And I like how you can easily turn on and off with just the function and space bar. So great work from Lenovo on the keyboard backlighting. If you're looking for some extra screen real estate, definitely check out the Lenovo L15 if you're on the go. But if you're in office, I definitely recommend the Lenovo 34-inch curved monitor, the G34W. Now, both of these monitors are a good price point and a good build quality, as well as screen resolution. And they have the simple features that make them great buys. Now, I know everybody's on a budget, so that's why I partnered with Lenovo to pick out these two monitors to showcase to you guys as great options for additional screen real estate. The L15 is a full HD 1920 by 1080 resolution. It receives power through the USB display port, so you don't have to plug it into the wall, which makes it super on-the-go friendly. It has a fold-out stand, so you don't have to carry any extra tools or gadgets or stands with you. It's built in. And it has pass-through power, so you can charge your other devices from the screen when it's plugged into your computer. On top of that, it has a good brightness of 243 nits. Now, if you're looking for something larger to be in your office, definitely check out the G34W. This is a WQHD display, meaning it's the step between 1080p and 4K. So a nice high resolution. It has a 170 hertz overdrive refresh rate. If you're a creator needing color accuracy, not to worry, it has a 100% sRGB and 93% DCI-P3. It's super easy to set up, tilts, raises, and lowers to get the exact viewing angle that you're looking for. And as I mentioned earlier, both of these monitors have a great price point. Definitely check out the links in the description below for the live pricing. And if you do make a purchase, of course, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you, but that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Taking a look at the configurations available on the Legion Pro 5i Gen 9, you can start out with the i7-14650HX, or you can get the i7-14700HX, or the i9-14900HX. Now keep in mind, if you're looking for the best deal on these laptops, you're going to want to check out Best Buy. Amazon is overpriced at $2,400. You can get the topped out i9 version with 32 gigs of RAM, RTX 4070, and 2 terabyte SSD for $18.99. If I build this configuration on Lenovo's website, it is going to come out to much more. Let's see exactly what it comes out to. It comes out to over $100 in savings, and I wasn't even able to add a 2 terabyte SSD. Now I can add a secondary solid state to make it 2 terabytes, and that saves you $200 by choosing Best Buy's configuration. Now, if you're not looking for the RTX 4070 and you're fine with 16 gigs of RAM, you can actually pick up the laptop right now for $1499, or you can get last year's model for $1499 and you're getting an RTX 4070 instead of a 4060. And for 3D modeling, this could actually be a better choice than getting the newer model. As you'll see when we're looking at the benchmarks here later in the video, they're pretty neck and neck. And so if you can get that extra GPU performance rather than CPU performance at the same price, I personally would go for the 4070 from last year. Links in the description below for the live pricing. And if you do make a purchase of those links, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, as we go ahead and look at the port selection on this laptop, again, the exact same for the past year. Looking at the ports on the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i Gen 9, we have 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports. We have 1 USB Type-C Gen 2 DisplayPort 1.4. We have 1 USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 DisplayPort 1.4, and we have an additional USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 DisplayPort and power delivery. We also have an HDMI 2.1, as well as your electronic eShutter cutoff switch and your headphone jack, and of course power input on the back panel and an RJ45 Ethernet port. And taking a look at the bottom cover, this is one of the best laptops on the market as far as upgrade path is concerned. But first, you can see we have a vent here, here, and then right here where the heat pipes come through, there's a little ventilation as well. So as far as ventilation is concerned, this is one of the more roomy laptops. It's a little bit thicker than your average gaming laptop at over an inch. Most gaming laptops, the 16-inch models, are usually anywhere from about 0.92 to like 0.75. This one's over an inch thick. So definitely gives you a little more room, a little bit better thermals for more ventilation coming through the laptop. Okay, back to the upgrade path. You can upgrade 2 M.2 slots. You can have 2 different drives. It comes with 1, and you can upgrade both RAM sticks. Now, the newer models, I think the 2023 did this as well, but if not, it's definitely for 2024. It comes with 1 RAM stick, a 16 gig stick. So you can go ahead and add an additional 16 gig stick and pop it up to 32 gigs, which is nice that you don't have to replace both. Now, some people are going to get a little obsessive and replace both to, align the RAM timings and have the exact same model, which is totally cool. Respect that. But if you're somebody who's not so geeky on that stuff, you can just go ahead and throw another 16 gig stick and you will still get a benefit from that, especially in something like Premiere Pro, timeline playback, or Photoshop. You're going to get an uptick in performance smoothness by adding that extra 16 gigs of RAM. Now, one thing I pointed out on the Pro 7i, which is definitely true as well for the Pro 5i, is the screen wobble. Very little screen wobble on this laptop. It's a kind of a test I've been throwing in recently. And it's interesting because whether you're in a car or in an airplane and you get, kind of some shakiness, the screen, as you can see from the top camera, the thing that's moving is the entire laptop, but the screen is not doing any bouncing, which is nice. So it's a very sturdy hinge. And also the top cover, being an aluminum top cover, is very rigid. So good build quality, good assembly, which again is why I've been considered a fanboy of this laptop, because I think they're doing a really good job with it. It is a traditional gaming laptop. It's not thin, it's not light, it's chunky, it's full of options, and I think they do it really well. Now, looking at the display, one area I will also praise this laptop for is they've continued with the matte display. You don't have any very specific reflections. It's very blurred out. So let's go ahead and check out the display on this laptop. Taking a look at the display on the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i Gen 9, I love that it is a matte anti-glare display. You can see even as I tilt up towards my light, you're getting a more diffused lighting on the screen. Now, this is X-Rite Pantone certified from the factory to increase the color accuracy. It is an HDR display with a resolution of 2560 by 1600 at 165 hertz refresh rate. It reaches 383 nits at full brightness, 100% sRGB, 78% Adobe RGB, and 79% DCI-P3, all at a delta E of 1.25. Now keep in mind, if you're wanting a higher color gamut range for your display, you're gonna have to check out the Lenovo Legion Pro 7i. That's one of the big differentiating factors between the 5i and the 7i this year in the Pro series. I'm gonna have full head-to-head reviews of those if you wanna check them out on my channel coming in the following days. As you go ahead and look on the bottom cover of this laptop, that is where the speakers are positioned, and they're decent. Here's a sample of the speakers in use so you can hear what they sound like. Speaking of more tests, I run a webcam test. There is a webcam along the top bezel, and here's what that looks like and sounds like. This is a sample of the webcam on the 2024 Lenovo Legion Pro 5, and a little sample of the audio for you as well. And the next thing to consider is the battery life. And the battery life on this laptop it's okay. It has 6 hours and 36 minutes of battery life for productivity, 5 hours and 17 minutes for streaming video playback, and 4 hours and 31 minutes for Photoshop, with 2 hours and 44 minutes for video editing. Now, this is an 80 watt hour battery. If you're looking for more battery life, I would check out the Lenovo Legion Pro 7i, as that gives you a 99.99 watt hour battery and increases your battery life by about an hour and a half. So if that matters to you, I would definitely consider that. Now, what I would notice most over this laptop from 2023 to 2024, it's basically the same laptop. And what we're running into, and this is where I can hopefully squash the fanboyism on this channel and this continued talk in the comment section, NVIDIA did not provide any new updates in product. We're still on 40 series, and Intel's 14th gen CPUs are basically just a slightly retooled 13th gen CPU. So we're gonna jump into the performance section here now, and we're gonna talk through what that is. And as far as Lenovo is concerned, they put their efforts into some other gear. We know that there's 2 new Lenovo Yoga laptops that are coming out, and so I'm really excited to be looking at those, but I didn't want to forgo this review because I know there's a lot of you that want to know about this laptop, and there's a lot of tech channels that will not cover it because it's not the new, latest, and the greatest. And though I will be kind of somewhat punished by the YouTube algorithm for losing views because I'm reviewing a laptop that doesn't have a ton of press and isn't a huge update, it still deserves to be talked about. So that's my goal for this video. All right, let's jump into the performance now that we've had that little caveat out of the way. If you look at the Geekbench single core and multi-core performance on this laptop, it's good. It does a very good job. It's an i7 processor with an RTX 4070, and it has mid-range benchmarks. Now looking at Cinebench 2024, same thing, good performance. Not outstanding, but good, and in line with performance from last year's models. Now going ahead and taking a look at Photoshop, you can see we have a 6576 inside of the Photoshop benchmark. That is a good score as well. Again, if you're going to get this laptop to be more powerful, I honestly would not upgrade either the CPU or the GPU. I would just add RAM. If you want to add RAM to this laptop, you'll immediately get an extra few hundred points inside of Photoshop and increase the smoothness of performance in Photoshop and the smoothness of playback in Premiere Pro very quickly, and for a lot less budget than going up to an i9 or an RTX 4080. Now taking a look at 3D modeling, great scores. I mean, these scores have been solid for the past couple of years. Now that we're seeing laptops consistently in the 200s for Autodesk 3ds Max and PTC Creo, and above 300 for Autodesk Maya, these are great performing laptops, and you'll have no issues inside of those 3D modeling programs. Now, if you want to get some great performance in SOLIDWORKS, you know that I am a parrot, and I say the same thing over and over. NVIDIA workstation GPUs are what you want to use for SOLIDWORKS for the best performance. If you're a medium to light SOLIDWORKS user, you're going to do great with this laptop with a 118. But if you're a serious SOLIDWORKS user, I'd recommend an RTX, A2000, A3000, A5000 GPU, as it will give you much better performance inside of SOLIDWORKS, and it's actually a certified GPU. SOLIDWORKS recognizes it as a GPU that they certify for their program. Now going on to video editing, a great result for video editing. Actually better than 2023 by about 30 to 40 seconds, 2 minutes and 14 seconds for 4K. That's a 9-minute 4K clip put into Premiere Pro, export out at full quality 4K YouTube settings, and then 6K, same process, 9-minute 6K clip, exported it out at 6K settings. 16 minutes and 34 seconds, respectable, not outstanding, but definitely respectable. When looking at the comparison to 2023, you actually see that we had a better result in 2023. And this is where I'm going to show you, hey, 2024 didn't do as good as 2023. I ran this test multiple times, and I'm still getting that same result. Also for 6K playback, we had 327 drop frames. Honestly, it won't be very noticeable, but I wanted to show the very, data-based evidence. Whereas for 2023, we only had 32 drop frames for 6K B-RAW. So somewhere in the development or programming or something, it ended up actually decreasing in performance for the newer model. Now, it may have something to do with the fact that the model that I was sent has the Intel i7-14650HX versus the i7-13700HX from last year. There might be a little bit of difference in far as the frequencies of the CPU, but I definitely wanted to point out those results. And it also could be that they had, dual channel RAM last year versus the single channel that is now in this year's model. There's so many things it could be. But I will say the model that I had, reviewing it as it came from the factory, slightly less performance in video editing for 6K. 4K, it was better. 6K, a little bit less performance. So these are the things I really wanted to be clear about. I didn't want to continue to be called a fanboy of these laptops just because a new one released. It's automatically the best thing ever. It's still great, but it doesn't mean it's the best thing ever, okay? Would I recommend these laptops though? 1000%. I still think they are the best laptops that money can buy right now for a 16-inch gaming laptop with a classic gaming laptop aesthetic. Now, there's a whole other conversation about the latest Zephyrus G16, which I will do a head-to-head review of with the Lenovo Legion versus the Zephyrus 16 and talk about which one is better in regards to the use cases. But as far as thick, chunky, sturdy, powerhouse laptops, I don't see a world currently where something else beats this. I think it's just the best option that's on the market. Links in the description if you're ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos that will help you with your buying decision. I'll see you in the next one.